So, welcome to the present perfect tense positive verb sentences. In this lesson, we are starting a new tense, which is the present perfect tense. Okay? We need to look at first, when do we use the present perfect tense? And after that, we have to look at the structure. After looking at the structure, we will then look at the rules associated with the present perfect tense positive verb sentences. What rules must we follow when we form sentences in the present perfect tense positive verb sentences? After doing that, we will therefore apply the rules associated with this specific type of tense, and also, of course, with the structure. Let us jump straight into it. Let us get started with the first unit. In this unit, for this part, we first look at when do we use the present perfect tense. Okay, that's the first thing that we need to answer. When do we use the present perfect tense? So, the first case in which we use the present perfect tense is that we use it to talk about actions that just finished now, and we only see their results now in the present moment. Okay? I need to explain this further. This means that we use the present perfect tense to talk about the actions that started happening in the past, but they only finish now in the present moment. So basically, these actions are in the past, but the past which is in the present. Why do we say the past which is in the present? Because they finish just now in the present moment. Okay? I am going to illustrate this using some diagrams in the next slide, just so that I can explain these in detail, right? Just so that you can explain it, and just so that you can visualize it as well. Okay, so let's go there. So we have a period here, which we call before, meaning before the current moment. Okay? So before the current moment, what happens? Meaning in the past. What happens is that an action starts happening before now, the present, meaning that it started happening in the past. Okay? And then what happens is that now, the present, as in like in the current moment, then the action stops now in the present. So this action started in the past, right? And it only stops right now, in this moment, in this specific moment, in the present moment. That's when the action stops. It's no longer moving. Okay? But it's no longer happening. It's no longer ongoing. So that is the first case in which we use the present perfect tense to talk about actions that started happening in the past and they got finished just now in the present moment. Okay? So it's like, for example, I am eating. Let's say I am eating something. As I'm eating something, then just now I finish. Then I should say, I've eaten, right? I've eaten the food, right? Meaning I've just finished now. Okay? So just to do a quick recap, the action starts happening in the past before the current moment, and then it stops in the current moment, meaning that we only see the results of the action right now in this current moment, in the present. That's when we see the result. The action stops now. So that's when we use the present perfect tense. It is the first case. Now we also have the second case of the present perfect tense. And the second case is that we use the present perfect tense to talk about our experiences in life. To talk about our experiences in life. For example, if I say, I have been to Japan, right? I have traveled, right, outside the country before. So you see, in this case, I'm talking about my experiences. I don't mean that I finished traveling now. I just mean that this is something that I have experienced in my life before. Okay, so in that sense, again, we can use the present perfect tense to talk about our experiences. Let me illustrate this as well in the form of a small diagram. Okay, so before or the past, okay, meaning in the past, what happens is that the action was done in the past. So, like I said, I have traveled to New York before. I don't mean just now. I did this thing in the past, right? But I have decided to use the present perfect tense. Why? Because it is my experience. I didn't just finish now. No, done it maybe let's say 5 years ago. But I'm talking about my experience. Okay? It's like saying, I have worked for ABC company for 10 years. Okay? It doesn't mean that I've just finished just now. No, I'm just talking about my experience, that these are the things, or this is the thing that I have experienced in my life. Okay? So I can use the present perfect tense to also talk about my experiences in life. Okay? So don't forget, first we use the present perfect tense to talk about the things that just got finished now. We only see the results just now. Okay? We can also use the present perfect tense to talk about the experiences in our lives. Okay? All right. So I hope that you understand the two use cases of the present perfect up to so far. Okay? So now we can move to the structure. How do we structure the sentences in the present perfect tense? That's what we need to look at. So the present perfect tense verb sentences structure, we will start with the positive verb sentence, meaning that we are looking at the positive verb sentences in this video. The structure is as follows. So first, you need the subject. After the subject, you use has or have, depending on the subject that you have. After the have or the has, you put the past participle. Remember, the past participle is just the third form of the verb. V3. Remember, we've got V1, V2, and V3. V1 is the first form, the infinitive. V2 is the past form. V3 is the third form, the past participle. For example, for the verb eat, right? Like eat food. The infinitive is eat, V1. Then the V2, the past form, the second form is ate. And the V3, the past participle, or the third form is eaten. So in this case, then, we need to use the third forms of our verbs, meaning that you have to be familiar with the third forms of verbs. Okay? Now, in the future, I will upload a video whereby I explain, right, the different types of verbs that we have, and also we'll learn different types of like past participles or the third forms, but that will be on a separate video. please be on the lookout for the video as well, which I will upload later on. After the past participle, you need the object. After the object, you then need other words. Okay? Now the rule says, use has for the subjects he, she, and it. Use have for the subjects I, you, they, and we. Okay? So it means if your subject is a he, she, or an it, you use has. If your subject is I, you, they, or we, you use have. Right? And after that, you put the past participle, the third form, then the object. After the object, you put other words. So this is the structure of the positive verb sentence, present perfect tense. Right? And then these are the rules associated with it. Okay? Let's look at the structure one more time before we start applying the rules and the structure in the following slide. Remember, subject, then has or have, depending on the subject that you have. If your subject is he, she, or it, use has. If your subject is I, you, they, or we, use have. After that, you put your past participle. After the past participle, you put the object. After the object, you then put other words. For example, I can give you an example sentence of this structure. I can say, I have eaten breakfast. Okay? I, subject, have, because the subject is I, eaten, the third form of it, breakfast, the object, with my family, other words. Okay, so I have followed the structure of the present perfect tense positive verb sentence. Okay, so this is the structure of the present perfect tense positive verb sentence and the rules associated with it. Now, let us go to the next slide and apply the rules and the structure that we've just learned now. So the exercise is as follows. Change the following sentences into the present perfect tense positive sentences. So our sentences should be in the present perfect and they have to be positive sentences. Number one, it says here, Emmy kicked the ball very well. So we've got Emmy. Emmy is the subject. And Emmy is a she. And therefore, we have to use has. As the rule said, for he, she, and it, use has. Then we put has after the subject. And then for our verb, we need to use the third form, the past participle. So kick is a regular verb, and therefore it means the third form is the same as the second form. So the past participle is the same as the past form because kick is a regular verb. So the correct sentence therefore will become Emmy has kicked the ball very well. Number two, the baby cried over nothing. We've got the baby here, it's the subject. The baby can be a he or a she. And therefore we have to use has. Cry is a regular verb. And therefore it has to become cried. The third form is cried. As such, the correct sentence is the baby has cried over nothing. Number three, Mike played football with his friends. Mike is the subject and it's a he. We have to use has after the subject. And we have to use the third form of the verb. Play is also a regular verb, so it has to become played. The correct full sentence therefore becomes Mike has played football with his friends. 4. I walk to work. Subject I, and therefore we have to use have, as we learned in the previous slide about the rules. For the subject I, you, they, and we use have. Walk is a regular verb, and therefore it means the past participle is walked. It's the same as the second form. The correct sentence becomes I have walked to work. Let's keep it moving. Next up, we drink orange juice. Subject, we. For the subject we have to use have. We have to use the third form of drink, which is drunk, because drink is irregular. So it's drink infinitive, the past form, drank, with an A over here, and the past participle is drunk with a U. The correct sentence therefore becomes, we have drunk orange juice. Next up, you sing beautifully with the choir. Subject, you. We have to use have, and we have to use the third form of sing, which is sung. So the pattern is sing, sang, sung. The correct sentence therefore becomes, you have sung beautifully with the choir. Next up, they run together to keep their bond. Subject, they, and therefore we have to use have. We have to use the third form of the verb, and the pattern verb of run is infinitive, run, past form, ran, and the third form, run. So the third form is the same as the first form for this particular verb, run. As such, the correct sentence becomes, they have run together to keep their bond. Next, Ken and Tom dance very well. You've got the subject here, Ken and Tom. So you've got two people, right? A he and a he. It's more than one. Okay? So we regard them as a collective subject, then, because I have not included myself in the subject. So we have to use have. And then dance is a regular verb, so the third form becomes danced. The correct full sentence is Ken and Tom have danced very well. Next up, Sylvia and I ate rice and chicken. So you've got Sylvia, she, and I, he. I'm including myself here. So the collective subject is we. And therefore I have to use have, right? And then the third form of eat is eaten. The correct sentence therefore becomes, Sylvia and I have eaten rice and chicken. All right. So this is the end of the present perfect tense positive verb sentences. In this lesson, we first looked at when do we use the present perfect tense, and we said we use it for two situations. The first situation, we said we use it to talk about the actions that just got finished in the present moment. We only see the results of something that started happening in the past just now. And we also said we use the present perfect tense to talk about our experiences in life. After that, we then looked at the structure of the present perfect tense verb sentence. We said first we need the subject, after the subject, we put have or has depending on the subject that we have. And then we use the past participle for the that form of the verb. And then after that, we use the object. And after the object, other words. After looking at the structure, we discussed the rules. And the rules were as follows. Use have for I, you, they, and we. And use has for the subject, he, she, and it. After looking at the rules, we then apply the rules and the structure by doing the exercises which we've just finished now. All right, everyone. I hope you understood this lesson. Please don't forget to share this video with others. In the next video, I will explain the present perfect tense, positive, negative verb sentences, sorry, negative, because right now we just need positive. Okay? Please do look out for that video as well. For now, it is a goodbye from me. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Take care.